Biomass, is burning it really green? Well, that's a fantastic question, and that's exactly what we're going to break down today.
Okay, so we hear it all the time, right? Cut carbon emissions, stop burning things. And yet, we're literally burning plants for energy and calling it renewable. How does that work? It feels like it breaks all the rules. But stick with me, because it actually makes a lot of sense.
All right, to really get our heads around this, let's use a simple analogy. Think of all the carbon in the world as being part of a giant library. This is going to help us see the difference between two very different carbon cycles.
So, in our library, you've got two kinds of carbon. The carbon from biomass, think of that like taking out a library book. It's a short-term loan. But fossil fuels, that's totally different. That's like breaking into a sealed, ancient archive and dumping millions of books into the system that have been locked away for eons.
So let's look at that short-term loan first. As a plant grows, it does this amazing thing called photosynthesis. It literally breathes in carbon dioxide from the air around us. In our analogy, it's checking out a book that was already on the public shelf.
And then, when we use that plant for energy, when we burn it, that very same carbon it borrowed gets released right back into the atmosphere. The book is returned to the shelf, ready to be checked out by the next plant. See? It's a closed loop.
This whole process is what scientists call the fast carbon cycle. And the key word there is fast. This is carbon that was already part of our atmosphere, part of our world, today. It's just a quick in and out process happening over a few years or decades.
But fossil fuels, well, they're a completely different story. Remember that sealed ancient archive? Burning coal, oil, and gas is like dynamiting the door open. We're not just returning a book. We are flooding the library with ancient carbon that the system just wasn't built to handle.
So, that's the why behind it. But what exactly are we burning when we talk about biomass? Let's take a look.
Now, your first thought might just be wood. And yeah, that's part of it. But it's so much more than that. We're talking about all sorts of things, from specially grown farm crops and leftover bits from forestry to, even the food scraps in your compost bin.
The list of sources is actually pretty huge. You've got your basic plants and wood, sure, but also things like agricultural waste, super fast-growing algae, and even what's called municipal solid waste, which, let's be honest, is just a fancy name for our garbage.
And we don't just, throw it all on a giant bonfire. There are some really clever scientific methods to get the energy out. Things like controlled combustion, gasification, and even fermentation, all designed to turn this organic stuff into useful heat and electricity.
Okay, we've covered a lot pretty quickly. But if you only remember one thing from this whole explainer, please make it this next point.
This is it. This is the whole ballgame. Biomass recycles carbon that's already here, today. Fossil fuels unleash a flood of ancient carbon from millions of years ago. One is working within the current system. The other is completely overwhelming it.
And there you have it. That's why burning plants can actually be considered a renewable, carbon-neutral-ish source of energy. If this helped clear things up for you, do us a favor and subscribe to Energy Simply Explained. We love breaking this stuff down. Thanks for watching.